So, namaste and good evening, dear brothers and sisters. Welcome to all of you to our Friday evening study class of Indian section on this book, Letters from the Masters of Wisdom, Series 2. And today we will continue with Appendix B and letter number 74. And our speaker is Sister Vimal Balchander. So, we'll begin this session with the universal invocation. Please join me for the universal prayer. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom, O hidden light, shining in every creature, O hidden love, embracing all in oneness, may each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Thank you. So today it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our speaker, Sister Vimal Balchander. For most of us, she is the ever smiling face of so many Indian section programs, both as speaker and anchor. And today I have the opportunity of introducing her. So Vimalji, she's an architect, she's an artist, and she's a member of the Adyar Lodge in Chennai since 2010. And she is a regular volunteer at so many theosophical events which are held at Adyar. She has also given her services at the library and the bookshop there. A few people may know that she is a very sincere blogger and a YouTuber. She creates content which is deeply thought provoking on theosophical subjects and also others. So I welcome Vimalji and I look forward to her inspiring talk this evening.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be introduced by you, Vibhaji. Thank you so much. I didn't realize I'll feel so happy just getting introduced by you. So anyway, I'm also always grateful to the Indian section for this opportunity because it really helps my study. So now what I am going to do is continue with the Appendix B. So what the appendices so far, whether it was Damodar's or Ramaswamy Iyer or now Mohini Mohan, they were all they were they were all to do with the experiences each chela had with the masters or something connected to the masters. In the case of this particular appendix, there are two stories which Mohini Mohan Chatterjee is relating. The first story deals with a Tibetan peddler. A peddler is someone who carries the product with him in bags and backpacks and sells it from home to home. So one such peddler, whose name was Sanduk, had come to Darjeeling in the home in which HPB and other theosophists were also there. And he was narrating the story of Mahatma Kuthumi and the followers of Mahatma Kuthumi who were called Kuthumpas. Kuthumpas were the name given to the followers of Mahatma Kuthumi. And he was narrating the very special powers which the Mahatma had and where this peddler had met that Mahatma. Those were the things that the peddler was telling. Up till now, we saw this point. Now let us look at what he said after this point, after he told about the disciples who are called Kuthumpas. At Gyanse, the peddler said, the richest merchant of the place went to the Mahatma, who had stopped to rest in the midst of an extensive field and asked him to bless him by coming to his house. So at this place called Gyanse, which is in Tibet, this peddler saw that the richest merchant over there had gone to the Mahatma KH and asked him to come to his house to bless the people in his house. The Mahatma replied, he was better where he was, as he had to bless the whole world and not any particular man. So the Mahatma refused. He said, no, I am not for just one person. I am for the whole world and I'm better off where I am right now. The people, and among them our friend Sanduk, took their offerings to the Mahatma. but he ordered them to be distributed among the poor. So they all people had collected food, maybe clothes, other offerings for the Mahatma and his chelas. But the Mahatma told Sanduk and the other people who made the offerings that please give all this away to the poor. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Sanduk was exhorted by the Mahatma to pursue his trade in such a way as to injure no one, and warned that such was the right way, only right way to prosperity. So, though the offerings were refused, Sanduk was personally told by this Mahatma KH that he should do his trade in such a way that no one will be injured. And that is the only right way to make money to become more prosperous. So, as a trader, obviously the if he doesn't should not injure anybody, he should buy the product at the right price, not cheat the people who are making it. At the same time, when he's selling it, he should not overprice it and cheat the people who are buying it. That is the complete honest way, and this is a way in which he does not injure anybody. At the same time, not selling a defective product or not lying about the product. So many ways one can injure other people, hurt other people, cause confusion and pain to other people, even in the simple act of selling something. So the Mahatma tells him that, and obviously the Sanduk has taken it to heart because he remembers it even now. On being told that people in India refused to believe that there were such men as the brothers in Tibet, Sanduk offered to take any voluntary witness to that country and convince us through him as to the genuineness of their existence, and remarked that if there was no such men in Tibet, he would like to know where they could be found. So basically, here he's told that there are many, the Sanduk is told that many people don't believe that such masters exist. So then the Sanduk offers that if you want, I can take you and you can go and meet him yourself. And if he says that if you can't find him in Tibet, I don't know where you can find him. So it's that is the only place they will be. So then oh, I don't know what's happened. I'm not able to move it forward. Okay, sorry. Yeah. The people among them are friend Sandhu. No, this is done. Sorry. It's gone wrong. Okay, sorry. It being suggested to him that some people refused to believe that such men existed at all, he got very angry. Then again they told him that there are people who don't believe that such men exist. So this time Sanduk got angry. Tucking up his sleeve of his coat and shirt and disclosing a strong muscular arm, he declared that he would fight any man who would suggest that he had said anything but the truth. So he challenged them that if you think I am lying that such people exist, I am willing to fight physically any man if you can prove to me that I am lying. On being shown a peculiar rosary of beads belonging to Madame Blavatsky, the peddler said that such things could only be got by those to whom the Teshu Lama presented them, as they could be got for no amount of money elsewhere. So HPB was there in that building, house where this Sanduk was there. So she must have shown that rosary of beads. And seeing that rosary of beads, the Sanduk said that this is a very special set of beads. It cannot be purchased for any amount of money, has to be given by the Teshu Lama himself, which is again proves the truth of what the Sanduk was saying and the knowledge he had about the whole thing. Then, when the chela who was with us put on his sleeveless coat and asked him whether he recognized the latter's profession by his dress, the peddler answered that he was a gailang, and thus, and then bowing down to him, took the whole thing as a matter of course. So, someone who was in that group, because there were certain followers, disciples of the Mahatma also staying in the the Darjeeling house. So that one of the chelas put on a sleeveless coat and said, "Do you recognize this kind of outfit?" So he said, "Yes, this is worn by the guilings or the followers of the Mahatma." The witness in this case was Babu Nobin Krishna Banerjee, Deputy Magistrate, Berhampur. Nobin Krishna Banerjee is the first president of the Bengal Theosophical Society. M.R. Ramaswamy Avargal. Ramaswamy Avargal is a other person whose appendix we read, whose other story we read. When the word Avargal is used, it is a Tamil word saying something like His Highness, something like that. His respect. It's a respectful word, Avargal, but his name is Ramaswamy Iyer. District Registrar, Madma, Madras. The Gurkha gentleman spoken of earlier. There was a Gurkha gentleman who was there for translating this Sanduk's speech, but later on they found that they could understand the Sanduk's Hindi quite well. Then the family of the first name gentleman, that is the family of Nobin Krishna Banerjee, and the writer, that is Mohini Mohan Chatterjee. So these were all the people at that time. So this was the first evidence, evidence of Sanduk. The second evidence is this next one, which is a totally different source, a totally different area of India also. So let us look at that. Now for the other piece of corroborative evidence. This time it came most accidentally into my possession. A young Bengali brahmachari who had only a short time previous to our meeting returned from Tibet and who was residing then at Dehradun in the northwestern provinces of India. So there is this Bengali brahmachari. Now it is not mentioned here from what type of brahmachari was it? Was it from the same lineage as Vivekananda, or which lineage this brahmachari came from? But not a theosophist. He was a Bengali brahmachari, and he had come from Tibet, and he was living in Dehradun at the house of my grandfather-in-law, the Venerable Babu Devendra Nath Tagore of the Brahma Samaj. So we know that Mohini Mohan Chatterjee was married to the grandniece of Rabindranath Tagore. He was married to the elder brother of Rabindranath Tagore's daughter, Saroja, her name was. And so his grandfather-in-law was the father of Rabindranath Tagore, whose name is Devendranath Tagore, and he apparently had a house uh, in Dehradun, where this Bengali brahmachari was present. So at the house of my grandfather-in-law, the Venerable Babu Devendranath Tagore of the Brahma Samaj. Now we also know that Mohini Mohan is connected to the Brahma Samaj also through his father-in-law and also his grandfather. Gave most unexpectedly in the presence of a number of respectable witnesses the following account. So this Bengali brahmachari gave this following account. Let us read that. On the 15th of the Bengali month of Asar, last 1882, being the 12th day of the waxing moon, he met some Tibetans called the Kuthumpas and their guru in a field near Taklakhar, a place about a day's journey from the lake of Mansarovar. So he had met Kuthumpas. Again, the same word has come, which the Sanduk had given. Same word has come again. Kuthumpas and their guru in a field near Taklakhar, a place which is a day's journey from the lake Mansarovar. This lake Mansarovar, you all know, is at the base of the Mount Kailash. The guru and most of his disciples were called Gailings, wore sleeveless coats under undergarments of red. The complexion of the guru was very fair, and his hair, which was not parted but combed back, streamed down his shoulders. When the brahmachari first saw the Mahatma, he was reading in a book, which the brahmachari was informed by one of the guilings was the Rig Veda. So exactly the same thing which Sanduk said, their attire, the name of their followers, and the guru himself, all that matches. And now he says that this Mahatma was reading the Rig Veda. The guru saluted him and asked him where he was coming from. On finding that the latter had not had anything to eat, the Guru commanded that he should be given some ground gram, sattu, and tea. So Mahatma K.H. found out that this Bengali brahmachari had not eaten anything. So he instructed his followers to give him some ground gram and tea. So this sattu has to be cooked in a little hot water. So then the brahmachari says, as the brahmachari could not get any fire to cook his food with, the Guru asked for and kindled a cake of dry cow dung, the fuel used in that country as well as in this, by simply blowing upon it, and gave it to our brahmachari. So when the brahmachari said, I cannot cook this sattu, so then Mahatma KH asked for someone to give a piece of cow dung and then just blew on it and lit it. The latter assured us that he had often witnessed the same produced by another Guru of Wuhan, as they are called in Tibet, at Gauri, a place about a day's journey from the cave of Tarchin on the northern side of Mount Kailash. So this is all very intriguing because we all wonder whether they are still there, these type of masters, these type of teachers, these people with special powers around these areas, which people go to a lot, but till now it's a very big mystery, the Mount Kailash. So the brahmachari says that he has seen this kind of a phenomena where these masters had these special powers, uh, and around these areas where one place he names called Gauri, which is a day's journey from a cave of Tarchin, which is on the northern side of Mount Kailash. The keeper of a flock, who was suffering from rheumatic fever, came to the Guru. He was keeper of some lambs or sheep. He was suffering from rheumatic fever and he came to the Guru, that is Master KH, who gave him a few grains of rice crushed out of paddy, which the Guru had in his hand. And the sick man was cured then and there. So we saw this same story also repeated by Sanduk, that they could take paddy and just crush it and then give, when that was consumed by the person who was ill, the person would become well immediately. Before he parted company with the Kuthumpas and their guru, the brahmachari found that they were going to attend a festival held on the banks of the lake Mansarovar, and thence they intended to proceed to the Kailash mountains. So he then found out that they were all going to go for a festival on the lake Mansarovar, and they were after that going to the Kailash mountains, probably for their meditations and study. The above statement was on several occasions repeated by the brahmachari in the presence of, among others, Babu Dwijendranath Tagore of Jorosanko. This Dwijendranath Tagore is the father-in-law of Mohini Mohan Chatterjee. Babu Kali Mohan Ghosh of the Trigonometrical Survey of India, Dehradun. Babu Kali Kumar Chatterjee of the same place. Babu Gopi Mohan Ghosh of Dhaka. Babu Priyanath Shastri, clerk to the Babu Devendranath Tagore, and the writer. So this person, this Bengali brahmachari whose name he is not taking, this entire article, which I have mentioned last time, came in the Theosophist in 1883. So this he has to write all of these details down, that who are the people there. There's a proof that these people also along with me heard the same thing which I am writing. So he has written down the names of all the people who were present at that time. Also, this person, this Bengali brahmachari, has told this to many people in many different circumstances. Comments would here seem almost superfluous, and the facts might very well have been left to speak for themselves to a fair and intelligent jury. But the averseness of people to enlarge their fields of experience and the willful misrepresentation of designing persons knows no bounds. See, even if you're given all this information, everything is logical, seems honest, straightforward, yet people will disbelieve. They will willingly think that there has to be something amiss, something is wrong, somebody is fooling us, or something. The nature of evidence here adduced is of an unexceptional character. Both witnesses were met quite accidentally. Even if it be granted, which we certainly do not for a moment grant, that the Tibetan peddler Sanduk had been interviewed by some interested persons and induced to tell an untruth, which can be conceived to have been the motive of what can be conceived to have been the motive of the brahmachari, one belonging to a religious body noted for their truthfulness and having no idea as to the interest the writer took in such things, in inventing a romance, and then how could he make it fit exactly the statements of the Tibetan peddler at the other end of the country. So what Mohini is saying here is, one person we met Sanduk in Darjeeling, which is in East India, and then we met another person, this Bengali brahmachari, in West India, in Dehradun. Both of them said the same names, the same descriptions of the people, the Mahatma and his chelas, their attire, everything. How can it be so exactly similar? And one person, that is this brahmachari, is a belonging to a sect which do not lie. Plus, they don't even know, that person does not even know I belong to the Theosophical Society or I am interested in all of these things. He doesn't know anything about me. Why would he tell me a lie? And how can these two stories be exactly the same? Uneducated persons are no doubt liable to deceive themselves in many matters, but these statements dealt only with such disunited facts as fell within the range of the narrator's eyes and ears, and had nothing to do with their judgment or opinion. So one can deceive oneself in any number of ways, but all of these things were not something which are made by the figment of imagination, but really happened. That's what the writer is saying. Thus, when the peddler's statement is coupled with that of the Dehradun brahmachari, there is indeed no room left for any doubt to the truthfulness of either. That is, both the stories are true. It may be here be mentioned that the statement of the brahmachari was not the result of a series of leading questions, but formed part of the account he voluntarily gave of his travels during the year. So this gentleman had come to Dehradun from Dehradun from Tibet, and obviously he was wanting to talk about his interesting experiences, and he was telling this in front of all the other witnesses whose names we just saw. He was telling all of that in front of them and saying that these things happened to him. So it was not something which was because I asked him any questions or led him to say all these things. No, the man had himself said these ideas. And he is almost entirely ignorant of the English language. So he's not spoken in English and had to the best of my knowledge and had, to the best of my knowledge, information, belief, never even so much as heard the name of theosophy. Now, if anyone refuses to accept the mutually corroborative but independent testimonies of the Tibetan peddler of Darjeeling and the Brahmachari of Dehradun on the grounds that they support the genuineness of facts not ordinarily falling within the domain of one's experience, all I can say is that it is the very miracle of folly. So people can say that you heard all this, but I didn't hear. So I can't believe something you are saying. So he's saying if you are going to be that foolish that such a thing will not ordinarily happen, that you will meet such extraordinary people like the peddler or the brahmachari, I can't help you if this is the way you think. It is, on the other hand, most unshakably established upon the evidence of several of his chelas that the Mahatma Kutumi is a living person like any of us, and that moreover, he was seen by two persons on two different occasions. So, these two stories establish that the Mahatma Kutumi is a living person and has been seen by these two people. This will, it is to be hoped, settle forever the doubts of those who believe in the genuineness of occult phenomena, but put them down to the agency of spirits. Mark one circumstance. So please don't think that whatever occult phenomena that we have all witnessed in the Theosophical Society are due to spirits, but they are due to real human beings. It may be argued that during the peddler's stay at Darjeeling, Madame Blavatsky was also there, and who knows, she might have bribed him into saying what he said. But no such thing can be urged in the case of the Dehradun Brahmachari. He knew neither the peddler nor Madame Blavatsky, had never heard of Colonel Olcott, having just returned from his prolonged journey, and had no idea that I was a fellow of the society. His testimony was entirely voluntary. Some others who admit the Mahatmas exist, but that there is no proof of their connection with the Theosophical Society, will be pleased to see now that there is no a priori impossibility in those great souls taking an interest in such a benevolent society as ours. So again, the Mohini is saying that this Dehradun Brahmachari does not know us at all, does not know Colonel Olcott, Blavatsky, me, none of us. Yet he said exactly, gave the corroborative evidence of the Mahatma KH and their existence, that physical existence, and that we in the Theosophical Society should believe that such Mahatmas will be connected with the society as pure and as honest and as the Theosophical Society, as benevolent. Benevolent means as kind-hearted as our society. I purposely leave aside all proofs which are already before the public. Each set of proofs is conclusive in itself, and the cumulative effect of all is simply irresistible. So that ends Mohini Mohan Chatterjee's whole two examples of the proof of the Mahatma's existence. So this was all these three appendices were written at a time when people were disbelieving that the Mahatmas exist, and it was the Mahatmas themselves who wanted their chelas, all three of them, to write about their stories, their experiences and their thoughts. So it was in context with of that time. So here are some images, and one can really think about Mahatma KH being with his followers and taking his followers around this area at that time. So now we'll finish and we go to the next letter, next item, which is the letter number 74. This letter is a letter written by Mahatma KH to Narendra Nath Sen. You see a picture of the person here. He was a Rai Bahadur. That means he had a title also given by the Britishers. So he was a landed person. He was the proprietor and editor of the Indian Mirror, a newspaper which was printed out of Calcutta. And the uniqueness of this newspaper was that it published the writings of Indians who spoke for India, India's problems, and all the injustices which happen. In one of the Mahatma letters, Mahatma has said that there will be so many injustices in a country which is ruled by another country. There will always be injustices. So this paper was a paper which was giving a voice to the Indians to write about the Indian situation. Now, this person, Narendranath Sen, he joined the TS as soon as the society began its work in India. That means in 1882. He received several letters from the Master KH, but this is the only one so far found among his papers. So he had many letters that was written to him, but this is the only one which we have, and it was given to Jina Rajadasa, who has written this forward to by his son, that is Narendranath's son, gave this letter to Jina Rajadasa to be put in the Adyar records. Just give me 1 minute. Sorry. So now let's go ahead. The forward continues. I was then told an interesting showing showing the high regard which his master held him. That is, Jinaraja Dasa was told about an interesting fact in which how high the Master KH held this Narendranath Sen. Sometimes late at night, when correcting proofs, Narendranath Sen, after a hard day's work, would fall asleep over his proofs. More than once, when he woke up, he found the proofs corrected in blue pencil. Who uses the blue pencil? Master KH. So, Master KH would himself correct the proofs which Narendranath Sen, being an editor of this newspaper, The Indian Mirror, whose picture you see here, uh, when he would be editing and would fall asleep on the work itself, the next day morning the proof would have been corrected by the Master KH. That was how much they liked this person, Narendranath Sen. If you look at Wikipedia, you'll find another interesting short story of how this Narendranath would go every day, every single morning for many years, feeding the birds and fishes on that esplanade area near the Victoria Memorial, all those areas in Calcutta, when the fishes would actually come swimming close to where he'd be standing, waiting for him to feed him. So he had done that for so many years, a very gentle soul, but at the same time, his heart beat for theosophy. And in fact, the picture that you see of him, which you saw earlier, is shows an older gentleman, but he was only in his 40s when he joined the Theosophical Society. He's born in 1840s, so he was only in his 40s when he joined. So that picture is when he was of an older age. Now, let's continue with the forward. It says, the letter deals with the project of the Phoenix newspaper. So the coming letter, which we are going to discuss, letter 74, deals with the project of the Phoenix newspaper. When the founders came to India, the editor of the Pioneer, practically the official paper of the British government, then as now, was Mr. A.P. Sinnett. So when the founders had come to India, February of 1879, they had landed. And at that time, the Pioneer, which was the leading newspaper, was headed by A.P. Sinnett. And he was even now, that is when this thing has been, this whole book has been published, or at the time when this letter was given, I think that is what he means, not the book. The book was published in the 1920s. This time he's referring to is the time when this letter was received, that is 1883. A.P. Sinnett was the editor of The Pioneer. When he became interested in theosophy, that is, when Narendranath Sen became interested in theosophy and came especially under the influence of the personality of Master KH, no, sorry, this is about Sinnett. When he became interested in theosophy and came especially under the influence of the personality of KH, Mr. Sinnett began to show pro-Indian leanings. So this editor of Pioneer, who came under the influence of KH, started showing pro-India leanings in his writings as an editor in the newspaper. So that ends the forward. Now, the whole story of the Phoenix venture, we have studied this in the Mahatma letters, but I will just go through that a little bit. We know that HPB and HSO arrived in 1879 in February. In 1880 May, they made that Shimla visit, in which all that phenomena took place, about which in 1881 Sinnett published the first book, The Occult World. Okay. Now, 1882, within a year's time, by year end's time, that newspaper was bought by somebody else called Rattigan, who was not at all in favor of Sinnett and being so pro-Indian, and gave him 1 year's notice and said, you are employed now only for one more year. This happened in 1882 November. Then 1882 December, in Mahatma letters number 99, there are details of how the Maha Chauhan himself gives to KH a list of things which will be necessary to do to make a new newspaper, of which Sinnett can now become the editor. So because Sinnett must have written that now I have been given a notice, now what should I do? So for that, the KH Master KH had gone to the Maha Chauhan, and Maha Chauhan took his time, but he gave him a long list of things that needed to be done to make a new newspaper possible. Among those things that was needed, they needed 5 lakhs to set up a new newspaper. Today, in today's money, it will be about 55 crores. And that money they expected only the various rajas that were there. There was from Baroda, from so many places, the Nizam, many places were there where the rajas were there, even of Kashmir and Gwalior, many rajas were there who were capable of giving this type of donation. Not exactly donation, it will be a kind of ownership, but they will be giving this money and then they will get interest back. So it's a loan from these Maharajas that the Mahachohan suggested should be done. The amount was around 55 crores, and there's a whole list, a detailed list of how to make this whole thing possible. What will be the profit which what will be the salary which Senate will get, how much profit he will get, what profit will the people who are invested in it get. All those things are written in detail in Mahatma letter number 99. So this was 80 in 1882 December. This letter uh, has happened, Mahatma letter 99. But within 4 months, you will see that that whole project of trying to get money from the Rajas collapses, thanks to the work which people like Hume do. Hume, in one of the letters, it is written in the Mahatma letters that Hume had written to one editor about how these people, this Mahatma KH and these theosophists are all Jesuits, all liars. And that editor had gone and shown it to some one of the Rajas, and the Raja who was going to give 3 lakhs stopped giving that money. So thanks to such people who did not believe in the theosophical societies, all the founders and all the other people, there was this blockage and the money could not be collected. So this letter we get at that time when the problems have already started, the money is not coming in as anticipated. The letter is written in April 1883. We will go to that letter. Finally, you see what happened to this venture of starting the new newspaper, which is called the Phoenix. What happens is by October 1883, in Mahatma letter number 114, you come across that they have dropped this project because they could not collect the kind of money. But this is before this. This letter is before this. So this whole thing, now we continue with the forward, a little more information now. Now that you know this whole background of this, you will understand the forward better. This was against the policy of the pioneer. So the pro-India writing that AP Senate was doing was against the policy of the pioneer, and he received due notice to quit in November 1882. At this juncture, it was the earnest desire of Mahatma KH that Senate should not leave India. The master set on foot a plan to start a new paper, The Phoenix, with Mr. Sinnett as editor. But with Indians as proprietors, naturally, a large sum of money was required as capital, and 2 or 3 Indian princes half promised to invest their money in the new venture, partly owing to Mr. Hume's machinations, and partly to the spirit of apathy and toadying to government officials, then strong among Indians. The Phoenix project fell through, and Mr. Sinnett left India, never to return. On September 11th, 1883, the Master KH cabled, releasing Mr. Sinnett from his promise not to accept another billet. So, this was what I just explained. This is what Jinaraja Dasa has also said, that how they tried very hard for several months. Everybody tried, all court tried, many people tried, all of those serious members of the Theosophical Society were trying to get this whole thing going because they felt, as the Mahatma KH had written in the Mahatma letters, that this will be something which will lead to the freedom of India, because there was so much oppression of the working class in India. But the rich, the well-off people, the Rajas themselves had their own agenda, had their own plans. They wanted some things from the British government, so they didn't want to go against the British government. So they did not support this whole movement. Apart from that, it was also people like Hume who wrote against the Theosophists, which led to the disaster of this not happening. But if you really focus on this, you'll see how much effort the master puts to try to set up this newspaper. That is also nice to see the effort he puts. Now we'll go to the actual letter, the letter to Narendranath Sen by Master KH, letter number 74, sent to him in April 1883. Mr. Sinnett is gone. That Mr. Sinnett left in March to England without one single pie having been secured so far as a beginning. There remains but one means to achieve the desired result, and on its success depends the future of India for the next cycle of 27 years. So now there's one more idea I have. That's what Master Kate says. There's one more idea I have to set up this Phoenix paper. And on this idea depends the success of India for the next 27 years. Obviously, that did not happen. It took many more years than 27 years for India to become really independent. If this fails, that is this new idea, then verily not one of us will concern himself with the Hindus, especially with those would-be chelas who deluding themselves into the idea that they do all they can, remain motionless and substitute dash to action. So he says that this is my last idea. If even this fails, and I will not get involved anymore. And all those tailors who don't do anything and substitute dash to action means substitute fear or anxiety instead of acting on the work. This part is missing. The thing in the word in the brackets is missing. But probably the master was trying to say that instead of trying to act and to help us, they just sit and wait for things to happen. So then he says, this means, this means as a last resort is to establish the enterprise as a limited company, something I was very much opposed to at first. Messrs. Roberts and Morgan, Calcutta, have due authority to establish the company and will do so on receiving directions to that effect from H.S. Olcott. So he says that now he wants to set up, earlier in letter 99, Mahatma letter 99, there's a different set of legal terms used for setting up this newspaper. Now they are talking about a private limited company where there will be a few people who own the newspaper. He will be instructed to send the authority, that is H.S. Olcott. Therefore, you should arrange immediately on Mr. Sinnett's account for the registration deed, that is to choose for the establishment of a limited company, 7 persons to sign the articles of association as shareholders, even were some compelled by circumstances to hold but one share of rupees 100 each. Show the good example to begin with yourself. So now Master KH is asking Narendranath Singh to get 7 people to form a limited company, and each of them will have at least one share. The cost of a share is only 100 rupees. And he asks that please start this whole process by buying some shares yourself. 3 persons have authority to see, upon preliminary arrangement among themselves, Mr. Morgan, and arrange what is necessary, Colonel Olcott, Colonel Gordon, and yourself. So you are the 3 people, Colonel Olcott, Colonel Gordon, whom we know, we have heard about him. He and his wife were great supporters. They lived in Calcutta, and Narendranath. You are the 3 people who have to set it up. The seven numbered partnership as a private limited company. It is Mr. Sinnett's belief that Mr. Morgan would, if required, advance any small sum or funds needed for nominal shareholders. Will you, I ask, allow such an arrangement? And is Bengal and rich Calcutta so fallen down as not to furnish in the present emergency, not nominal, but 7 real shareholders. So here the master KH is saying that do we need to have an Englishman like Mr. Morgan to give us 100 rupees share? Can you not get so many rich people are there in Bengal? Can you not get some real shareholders and not just one fake shareholder like Mr. Morgan, but some real 7 shareholders? Can you not get 7 rich people to start this private limited company? That is what Master KH is asking. It is on the speedy formation of the shareholders and subsequent development that the intercourse of a few Calcutta theosophists with myself and others depends. So, as soon as you quickly can form these shareholders and we can develop something here, then only I will further interact with the Calcutta theosophists. Fail in this, and your cries for help to us will become indeed as the voice of one crying in the wilderness. I have said. I have said all I wanted to say. That's what he ends with. And he says that if you fail in getting me these 7 shareholders, then there is your crying to me for help is as good as someone crying in the wilderness. So, of course, it is not giving us any direct teaching, this letter, but indirectly it shows how much effort the Master KH was trying to make for the thing they believed in, which is to set up this newspaper called the Phoenix paper. So you can see, you corroborate this with the letters in the Mahatma letters and connected to the Phoenix enterprise, you will see the amount of effort they did whenever they took up something, and that is possibly the only learning. If you believe in something, you think something needs to be done, put every possible effort in every direction to make that thing happen, to be successful in that thing happening. That is what for me, is the key learning. And with that, I end and thank you for patient listening.
Thank you so much, Vimalji, for today's session on this most interesting letter about the interesting circumstances which were there. And before we go on to any discussion, do we have the Hindi translation?
Yes.
Sister Meenakshi ji?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Please start with the Hindi translation.
सभी को नमस्ते और थैंक यू सिस्टर। आज हम अपेंडिक्स बी और महात्मा लेटर 74 ले रहे हैं। अपेंडिक्स बी में मोहिनी मोहन चटर्जी लिखते हैं, महात्माओं के अस्तित्व की सच्चाई को दर्शाने वाले वे 2 उदाहरण देते हैं। पहला उदाहरण संदूक नामक तिब्बती फेरीवाले का है और दूसरा देहरादून के ब्रह्मचारी का है। वे लिखते हैं कि यानी संदूक बताते हैं कि वे पिछले साल यानी अक्टूबर 1881 में शिगात्से से दक्षिण की ओर 2 दिन की यात्रा करने पर जीएनसी नामक जगह में अपने व्यापार के सिलसिले में खरीदारी करने गए थे, जहां उन्होंने महात्मा को अपने अनेकों गायलों के साथ देखा था, जिन्हें उनके गुरु के नाम पर कुथुम्पा कहा जाता है। आगे वे कहते हैं कि जियांसी में एक बड़े मैदान में महात्मा विश्राम के लिए रुके थे, जहां वहां का एक अमीर व्यापारी उनके पास गया। उसने उन्हें अपने घर पधार कर आशीर्वाद देने के लिए कहा। महात्मा ने कहा, वे जहां हैं वही ठीक है, क्योंकि उन्हें संपूर्ण दुनिया को आशीर्वाद देना है, किसी खास व्यक्ति को नहीं। संदूक और वहां के निवासी महात्मा को भेंट वस्तु अर्पण करने के लिए गए। तब महात्मा ने उनसे वे चीजें गरीबों में बांटने के लिए कहा। महात्मा ने संदूक को यह परामर्श दिया कि अपना व्यापार इस तरह करे कि किसी को हानि न पहुंचे, और बताया कि खुशहाली का, समृद्धि का यही एकमात्र सही तरीका है। जब उन्हें मैडम ब्लेवेट्स्की की अनूठी जपमाला दिखाई गई, तब फेरी वाले ने कहा कि ऐसी चीजें केवल उन्हीं के पास होती हैं जिन्हें टेशु लामा ने प्रदान की हो, क्योंकि यह कहीं भी पैसों से खरीदी नहीं जा सकती। जब हमारे साथ मौजूद एक चेले ने उनके बिना अस्तीन वाला कोट पहना और पूछा कि क्या वे यानी संदूक उनके कपड़ों से उनकी श्रेणी को पहचानते हैं, तब फेरी वाले ने जवाब दिया कि वह एक गायलुंग है, और फिर झुककर उससे वह ले लिया। इस बात के साक्ष्य थे बाबू नोबिन कृष्ण बैनर्जी, जो कि डेप्यूटी मजिस्ट्रेट बहरामपुर के थे, फिर रामस्वामी अय्यर और अ, एक गुरखा और लेखक स्वयं। अब इसकी पुष्टि करने वाले दूसरे सबूत की बात करते हैं, जो अचानक ही मेरे पास आया, यानी मोहिनी मोहन चैटर्जी के पास आया। वह एक युवा बंगाली ब्रह्मचारी थे, जो हमारी मुलाकात के कुछ ही समय पहले तिब्बत से लौटे थे। पिछले साल यानी 1882 में बंगाली महीने के असर की 15 तारीख को जो शुक्ल पक्ष का 12वां दिन था, वह तकलाखार के पास एक मैदान में कुछ तिब्बतियों से मिला, यानी ब्रह्मचारी मिला, जिन्हें कुथुम्पा कहा जाता है। साथ में उनके गुरु भी थे। यह जगह मानस सरोवर झील से लगभग एक दिन की दूरी पर है। गुरु और उनके ज्यादातर शिष्य, जिन्हें गायलुंग कहा जाता है, उन्होंने लाल अंतर वस्त्र के ऊपर बिना आस्तीन का कोट पहना था। गुरु का रंग बहुत गोरा था। उनके बालों में मांग नहीं की थी, बल्कि पीछे कंघी किए हुए थे और कंधों से नीचे लहरा रहे थे। जब ब्रह्मचारी ने पहली बार महात्मा को देखा, तब वे एक किताब पढ़ रहे थे, जिसके बारे में ब्रह्मचारी को एक गायलुंग ने बताया कि वह ऋग्वेद थी। गुरु ने अभिवादन करते हुए उनसे पूछा कि वे कहाँ से आ रहे हैं। जब उन्होंने जाना कि युवक के पास खाने के लिए कुछ नहीं है, तब गुरु ने आदेश दिया कि युवक को सत्तू और चाय दी जाए। चूंकि अपना खाना पकाने के लिए ब्रह्मचारी को ईंधन नहीं मिल रहा था, गुरु ने सूखे गोबर का एक कंडा मांगा, जो उस इलाके में और इस देश में भी इस्तेमाल होने वाला ईंधन है। उन्होंने कंडे पर बस फूंक मारकर उसे जलाया और हमारे ब्रह्मचारी को दे दिया। ब्रह्मचारी ने यकीन से कहा कि उन्होंने अक्सर ऐसी घटना अन्य गुरु या चौहान, जैसे कि तिब्बत में उन्हें कहा जाता है, उनके द्वारा गौरी नामक जगह में देखी थी, जो कैलाश पर्वत के उत्तरी भाग में ताराचिन की गुफा से लगभग एक दिन की दूरी पर है। एक चरवाहा जो गठिया के बुखार से पीड़ित था, वह गुरु के पास आया, जिसे उन्होंने धान से कुचले हुए चावल के कुछ दाने दिए, जो गुरु के हाथ में थे, और बीमार व्यक्ति ठीक हो गया। कुथुम्पा और उनके गुरु से विदा लेने से पूर्व ब्रह्मचारी को यह पता चला कि वे मानस सरोवर की झील के किनारे होने वाले एक उत्सव में शामिल होने जा रहे थे, और वहां से वे कैलाश पर्वत की ओर प्रस्थान करने वाले थे। ब्रह्मचारी ने यह कई बार मान्यवर लोगों के सामने बताई, जो कि थे जोरासाको के बाबू द्विजेंद्रनाथ टैगोर और बाबू काली मोहन घोष, बाबू काली कुमार चैटर्जी, बाबू गोपी मोहन घोष और देवेंद्रनाथ टैगोर और उनके क्लर्क और स्वयं लेखक मोहिनी मोहन चैटर्जी। महात्माओं की पुष्टि करने वाली इन दो बातों से मिलती इन यह दो बातें मिलती जुलती है। दोनों ने न न तो एक दूसरे को वे जानते थे, और न ही थियोसॉफी के बारे में वे जानते थे, और न ही वे उससे जुड़े थे। जब फेरी वाले के बयान को देहरादून के ब्रह्मचारी के बयान से जोड़ा जाता है, तब सच में दोनों की सच्चाई पर कोई शक नहीं रहता। ब्रह्मचारी का बयान किन्हीं प्रश्नों के जवाब में नहीं था, बल्कि यह उस साल के उनकी अपनी यात्राओं के बारे में उनकी अपनी मर्जी से दी गई जानकारी थी। कई चेलों के सबूतों से यह बात पक्की हो जाती है। यह साबित होता है कि महात्मा कुथुमी हम में से किसी की तरह ही जीवित व्यक्ति है, और इसके अलावा उन्हें दो अलग अलग मौके पर दो लोगों ने देखा था। मोहिनी मोहन चैटर्जी लिखते हैं कि उम्मीद है कि यह बात उन लोगों के संदेह को हमेशा के लिए दूर कर देंगी, जो गूढ़ घटनाओं की प्रामाणिकता में तो विश्वास करते हैं, लेकिन उन्हें आत्माओं के प्रभाव का परिणाम मानते हैं। आगे हम लेटर नंबर 74 में आते हैं, जो कि मास्टर के एच नरेंद्रनाथ सेन को लिखते हैं 1883 में। मास्टर कहते हैं कि फोनिक्स वृत्तपत्र की शुरुआत करने के लिए सीनेट एक पाई भी न जुटाकर इंग्लैंड चले गए। इच्छित कार्य पूर्ण करने के लिए अब बस एक ही तरीका बचा है, और इसकी सफलता पर ही अगले 27 साल के कालचक्र के लिए भारत का भविष्य निर्भर करता है। अगर यह असफल होता है, तब सच में हम में से कोई भी हिंदुओं से अपना सरोकार नहीं रखेगा, खासकर उन संभावित चेलों से जो कुछ ठोस कार्य न करके इस कल्पना से भ्रमित है कि वे जो कर सकते हैं उतना ही कर सकते हैं। इसका मतलब यह है कि अंतिम उपाय के तौर पर फिनिक्स उपक्रम को एक लिमिटेड कंपनी के रूप में स्थापित करना, कुछ ऐसा जिसका मैं पहले बहुत विरोध करता था। कलकत्ते के मेजर्स रॉबर्ट्स एंड मॉर्गन को कंपनी की स्थापना करने का अधिकार है, और वे कर्नल ओलकॉट द्वारा निर्देश प्राप्त होने पर ऐसा करेंगे। उन्हें अधिकार देने का निर्देश दिया जाएगा। इसलिए आपको तुरंत मिस्टर सिनेट के अकाउंट में रजिस्ट्रेशन डीड का इंतजाम करना चाहिए, यानी लिमिटेड कंपनी की स्थापना के लिए 7 लोगों को शेयर होल्डर के तौर पर हस्ताक्षर करने के लिए चुनना चाहिए। भले ही हालात को देखते हुए कुछ लोगों को 100 रुपये प्रति व्यक्ति केवल एक शेयर रखना पड़े। एक अच्छा उदाहरण बनकर आपसे शुरुआत करें, ऐसा मास्टर नरेंद्रनाथ सेन को बोलते हैं। 3 लोगों को आपस में प्रारंभिक व्यवस्था करके मिस्टर मॉर्गन से मिलने और जरूरी इंतजाम करने का अधिकार है। वे 3 लोग कर्नल ओलकॉट, कर्नल गॉर्डन और स्वयं आप हैं। मिस्टर सिनेट का मानना है कि अगर जरूरत पड़े तब मिस्टर मॉर्गन नाम मात्र के शेयर धारकों को लगने वाली छोटी रकम उधार देंगे। मास्टर कहते हैं कि क्या आप ऐसा करने की अनुमति देंगे? क्या बंगाल और अमीरों वाला कलकत्ता इतने गिरे हुए हैं कि वर्तमान की आपातकालीन स्थिति में नाम मात्र के नहीं बल्कि 7 असली शेयर धारकों को प्रदान नहीं कर सकते? जल्द से जल्द शेयरधारकों का गठन और उसके बाद की प्रगति पर ही कलकत्ता के कुछ थियोसॉफिस्ट्स का मेरे और अन्य महात्माओं से संपर्क निर्भर करता है। इस उपक्रम में असफल होने पर मदद करने के लिए आपकी हमें पुकार सच में वैसी ही हो जाएगी जैसे जंगल में रोने वाले की आवाज। मैंने यहाँ कह दिया है। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Meenakshi ji, for giving this translation in Hindi. And now our forum is open to all the participants uh, to ask any questions or to add anything to what has been discussed today.
Actually, Vivaji, you must know something more about all this because you have been reading the Mahatma letters. So I think you can share something about this Phoenix venture. Do you remember some of the background?
So actually, yes, the Phoenix venture has been discussed in detail in some of the Mahatma letters. And what you mentioned, it was exactly that because Senate was asked to leave the Pioneer. And see, first of all, one was the interest of Mr. Sinnett in all these uh, occult sciences and the occult things. That is one part. The second part is Mahatma's looked at him as a person who had a very large outreach because he was the editor of a newspaper, and obviously then what gets printed in the newspaper reaches to the general population. So that was the other point which was very important. Now because he was being removed as the editor of that Pioneer, that instrument which would reach out to the people, that would be lost. And that is the reason they were so keen that he should continue staying in India, and for that, if required, we should set up another newspaper. But given the conditions of the Indians at that time, as has been mentioned here also, that they wanted to be pally with the British government. They were seeking favors, and they couldn't collect even this much sum, which would
Mm.
create a new newspaper. So that was the end of it, as we know it. So that
One
is through this incident. Yes.
one doubt, I mean, I was trying to understand this, that the master here in this letter, he says, I never wanted to do this, which is make this 7-member partnership.
Hmm.
The seven, this I could not really understand. What was the nature of that earlier thing they were trying to do? It was not a partnership. Then what was that? That was not very clear. I went to read that letter number 99 many times, but I couldn't understand it. The legal aspect, something was different.
Yes, it has not been explained as to what was the original plan. Just that they wanted to start this letter by collecting this capital from all the people who could afford to do it. But how they would set it up, that was not mentioned. It is only in this letter that he writes that now he is okay to go on and make it as a private limited venture.
Right, yes. Hmm. And you notice one more thing. I didn't notice this, but actually, November 1882, the Senate was given notice for 1 year. But look at the pride of that man. He left within a few months. He went back to England. He
Yeah.
didn't stay the whole year. See, these
Hmm.
people are very proud. If their self-respect is affected, they don't stay in the place where they are not respected.
Right. That is true.
Yeah.
And perhaps he was trying to look for other ways and means to continue his uh,
Yeah.
profession, or, to make a living and whatever.
Yeah. He never had a house also over there. He
Hmm.
was living in his in-laws' house,
Hmm.
mother-in-law's house in London.
Hmm. Hmm.
But he had a lot of money. That I have heard. He himself had 5 lakh rupees when he
Oh.
took of his own in England. That was the amount of money he took back. But I think eventually he landed in penury, because I have read also that Annie Besant had to send him some money because he was in penury.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So with this, we have completed the letters from Mohini Mohan Chatterjee, written to Mohini Mohan Chatterjee.
No, we finished the appendix written by Mohini Mohan Chatterjee, and
Hmm.
this one letter is the only letter by to Narendranath Sen.
Hmm. Hmm.
After that, there'll be others. These are called miscellaneous letters, so
Hmm.
each one is to different theosophists.
Right.
There's no grouping. There's no grouping.
Right. So thank you, Vimalji. Do we have any questions from the participants? I don't see any question coming forth. So we should keep studying the letters. Very few are remaining now. And thank you so much for your presence today to explain this letter. And now we bring this session to a close with our closing prayer. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and thank you, Vimalji.